And we are back.
Yeah, baby.
Hello everyone, and welcome back. Happy New Year. Hope you guys have been well. Thank you for your patience. Myself and Mark have had a well-needed break, but we are so excited to be back, baby, for episode 13. 13 now, and we've got a wicked guest speaker for you all. Someone who myself and Mark get on so well with, and she's just the best. And I'm not gonna I'm gonna have a little intro here, but I'm gonna let her take over and no pun intended, take the microphone here and tell her who she is, what she does. But we're so excited, aren't we, Mark, to have her
Oh,
on?
100%.
And yeah, we're going to kick off the new year with a bang. So, Ella Gorton, welcome to Revitalize Your Life podcast.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for having me. I have not done a
Wow.
podcast for so long, so to be here, honestly, it's made my
Yeah.
day. So to be the first one back after Christmas and New Year, I appreciate it. I appreciate you both.
Oh, no, we're excited to plan this for a little while. And there's a lot of people that need to hear your voice and your message. And, I'm gonna shut up. I'm going to let you take the mic. I'm going to let you take center stage and tell everyone and the listeners who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So, hi guys, thank you for joining us all today. But my name, is Ella Gorton, and I am the face behind the Instagram account _my_skin_story, which is where I am very infamously known from. And I basically started to struggle with my skin when I was 21. And I think for a lot of people, not even just women, they can all vouch for having some experience with acne. And that's kind of where my business and where my experience comes from. So I started at the age of 21 with severe adult acne. Now, I think people that are listening to this might think like acne is like demonized and stuck to a specific age range, like teenagers, for example, and then we grow up and we grow out of it. I thought the exact same, and I wish it really was that way, but unfortunately not. And I think women specifically nowadays, because we are taking a lot of hormonal birth controls and we're taking a lot of synthetic hormones and things like that, my experience came from the back of that. Like I say, age 21, all of a sudden my skin was like, wow, where has this come from? I've gone through those typical teenage years, no spots, no problems whatsoever. The age of 21, and when I've obviously, now I know what I know, and kind of gone back in my timeline as to why that was such a pinpoint moment for my skin breaking out. I went on a girls' holiday, and at the time, I think I was probably a bit more advanced mentally than I realized. I wasn't actually on contraception. I'd done contraception, and I wasn't on it because of a few different reasons, but I'd basically taken myself off because I knew it wasn't quite right for my mental health. I'd noticed a complete change in my mental health previously when I was with my ex-partner, of taking it and just feeling that direct correlation of it just making me feel very, very low within my moods. So we decided between us, me and my ex-partner, that it just wasn't right. So I took myself off it. But specifically age 21, I went on holiday with some of my friends and I took some of the synthetic pills, like hormone ones, to just pause your period while you was on holiday. And it was off the back of that, my skin just went boom. And I mean boom, it was day and night. I came off that holiday, naturally stopped those types of pills, because then I could have my period. I was home, I was fine. And my skin just went wild. And back then I didn't have a clue. I trained in skin, so actually my kind of industry background and training came from a beauty therapist background, where I went to college straight after school and did my level 2 and 3 beauty therapy training, which kind of was all about the skin, all about skin concerns, etc. Not to any depth that I know now, but I had that background knowledge, or I should have had that background knowledge of like, well, what do I do? How do I help myself? But typically didn't have a clue. Obviously went through the whole topical stuff of trying the different skincare routines. Was marched to the doctors by my mum, which understandably at that time she was clueless as well. She didn't have a clue. There's not information out there like there is now. I did all the antibiotics for years, and it literally makes my toes curl like this now when I think about the repeat prescription for limacycline that I was on for countless amount of years, because it kept it at a level. It didn't clear it, but it kept it at a level. And obviously that was my safety blanket. I didn't want to come off these antibiotics because it was keeping my skin at bay. And the doctors were just like, yeah, here's a prescription, here's a repeat prescription every few months, here it is, here it is, here it is. Until I got to a point where I realised that obviously I can't be on this for a long time. I need to be off this. And then came off them, tried it, came back on them because it flared up, tried different ones to a point of Roacatane. Now, Roacatane, if you guys, I'm sure you guys know what it is, or isotretinoin as its medical term, is the strongest drug that you can take from a conventional route for acne. It's one that has to be prescribed by your dermatologist, so you have to be referred out from your GP to a dermatologist. You're kind of jumping through those hoops to a point where that's your last kind of answer from a conventional route. I did it twice. I did Roacatane twice. So we're building that history now of like, oh my God, this girl's been on different types of contraceptives, different types of antibiotics, and then Roacatane twice. Again, I had no knowledge about this other than that this was the strongest drug. It came with a lot of side effects, but it was really helpful for clearing your skin. And me exhausting everything and coming to a point where I knew the seriousness of this drug, because it's very, very openly spoken about, but I felt helpless and I didn't know what else to do. And I just wanted to reset the skin because, again, mental health effects of having acne, it was just declining. I was in a lucky position where my parents actually paid for it private. So it was really beneficial in terms of like skipping the huge waiting list that the NHS have. But I had it twice. So the first time round, I had a really short cycle. It was 4.5 months worth. And usually the typical one is about 6. And then afterwards, I don't feel like the short cycle was the problem. I think it was the complacency and the lack of knowledge that once I'd kind of had this drug, which cleared my skin, I just went on living my life that put me in that position to have acne in the first place. So of course I was going to flare up. Of course it was going to go back to how it was, or at least trending that way, before again I tried to nip it in the bud with the second round, which was a shorter dosage, a lower dosage, but a longer cycle. So I think it was about 20 milligrams for 8 months. Pretty intense. I didn't have any of the side effects really like I had at the first round, but still the intensity of the drug in itself, low dose, high dose for 8 months is still pretty mad. And then after that, I just said to myself, I'm not going through this again. There's so many people out there like me. I'd set up an Instagram at this point when I had that first round of Roacatane because I really wanted to hold myself accountable. And it was before social media kind of started to build this traction around kind of health and all these different types of things. And we had this like skin community, we used to call it. And it was good to connect with other people across the world that were also doing Roacatane. But like I say, for me, it was like a bit of a diary to kind of hold myself accountable every single day and to talk on the internet about the transition that I was going through and hopefully get the result that I wanted to. And that's how things built. It really did. And like I say, I got to a point where after that second round, I was like, I could never do another round of this. And I started to build a lot of knowledge and awareness around like, what is going on inside my body? Like, why am I experiencing this? Because it's not a deficiency of Roacatane. It's not a deficiency of antibiotics. It's not a deficiency of contraception. And the skincare is clearly not working. The facials clearly aren't working. So what is it? And then I really just started to connect the dots. I just kind of really tried to think outside the box of what could be that cause. And the turning point for me was reading a book by Sarah E. Hill, I think she's called. And it's called How the Pill Changes Everything. Insane book for anybody that just kind of wants to learn about more the layperson kind of side of contraception and things like that, rather than sometimes things can get quite complex even when we're talking about things. And it was just stories about her like clients in her clinic and just how they had different experiences with symptoms and things like that. And I was like, the penny just started to drop. It really did. Things and questions that I had in my head just really started to be answered. Like, why is it that at specific times of the month in my cycle, can I go to the gym and can I lift really heavy weights? And then at other times, oh my God, the 5 kgs feel like 25 kgs. Like, why is that? Why at certain times of the month do I just want to cry and eat loads of chocolate and like have a bottomless pit of a stomach that just never gets full? Like, why? And all of the time that I was reading kind of these types of books, I was like, God, this makes so much sense. Like, we are not taught 1 ounce of anything about women's health. And considering we have a monthly cycle every single month for a fair amount of time of our lives, it was mind blowing. It was honestly mind blowing. So then when I started to make the connection with skin, I was like, shit, I'm onto something here. I really, really am. And I just couldn't stop. I literally could not stop with the research, listening to podcasts, reading books, obviously where I met you guys as well, doing courses. Like it just, I couldn't stop. I love it. And I still love it to this day. Hence why I'm here speaking to you guys, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, what a journey. Yeah. Well, this is it. I'm so grateful to have connect with you both because we sort of all share a similar goal, which is sort of like redefining health and but looking at it from a root cause aspect, isn't it? Because we're all from the UK, by the way, guys. So it's all about prioritizing your GP and your doctor, and following the science. Listen to your doctor's advice, and they only know how to plug things with just pills and symptoms. Where, like for you, Ella, that kind of runs out, and Mark with your irritable bowel, disease, and me with my chronic fatigue, you kind of exhaust your resources there. So you have to sort of deep dive, do the brave thing, look inwards, and look for alternative paths, and here we are, right? So
Exactly, 100%. And to have a platform that I'd built to be able to then try and give this advice to other people. And again, the traction then building of being like, oh my God, like this is helping me and I can help other people. And I have this advice and all this knowledge in my hand. It's like, I need to get it out to the world. I need to get it out to the world. It's incredible.
yeah, love it.
I think your story is quite important as well, just due to the Roacatane, as it's known in other countries, kind of play, because that is normally the last ditch effort for people that have got really bad acne. I was the same when I was 13, I think it was, up until I was 18. I had acne from my waist up. Like there was not a bit of my skin other than my arms that wasn't covered in acne, like stomach, chest, back, neck, face. And they were so quick to drop me on Roacatane that to the point it was, the side effects for me were so bad that my mum actually took me off it, thank God, because she was like, this is not right. I mean, some of my side effects, I mean, depression was a massive one. Like I just was not suicidal, but I don't think I was that far away from it. But I could literally at certain points take the skin off the side of my nose and peel it off, like in not like a little bit like a tan, but I could literally take this and the whole part of the skin off my nose, my whole nose would just come off, and it would be red raw underneath and bleeding, and it was awful. And so that, plus, as we know, the damage it causes to the gut and the microbiome and all that stuff, it just creates other long-term problems. And I can't remember what percentage it is, but I think it was something like 70% or something, wasn't it? That if you've taken that it increases those chances of some kind of IBD, IBS symptomology later on in life. Well, that's quite a big thing. You got to weigh up the pro and the con and think, okay, well, if I take this, I'm increasing my chances of having this by 70%, or I could not take this and try and find an alternative, which now, thanks to people like you, there is that option. But obviously back then when you had it and back then when I had it, there were no other options. That was it. It literally was like nuke everything. Let's just get rid of everything and let's have your whole face. It's literally like Face Off. Literally like Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Like I could have faced off every day. It was awful. So I think having people like you out there now with the profile that you've got and the way that you teach people and the education you're putting out there is so important. And as Joey says, like the medical industry, this needs to catch up, that there's reasons why this happens, and they don't ever ask that reason. They just want to like stop the symptom. And it's like, well, symptom hunting doesn't help. We need to find that root cause, like what's actually causing it. If you've got a pain in your foot while you're walking, more time than not, you're going to take off your shoe and you're going to see if there's something in your shoe. You're not going to go, oh, okay, I'm just going to take a painkiller and keep walking. It could be a thorn, it could be a nail, it could be anything that's hurting. So you would naturally take off your shoe. And it's the same thing with the body. Obviously, we can't take off our skin and have a look inside. But that's kind of the thing that we need to do with the other testing and having people out there that have this information, that have been through it already. Let's lift the lid on this and see what else could be the cause, not the symptom, but the actual cause. Because it is just your body expressing something. It's trying to say to you something's not right here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. And that's what I kind of try and portray. And I think even people like yourselves talking about more holistic side of health helps kind of me and kind of meeting those types of people that are thinking, actually, this is a different way of thinking. 90% of the people that I work with are like me, have exhausted all those options and think there surely has to be more than this. Like, I can't just keep doing countless amounts and courses of Roacatane, because rightly so, with women specifically, one of the things with women is it can cause birth defects. So you can't fall pregnant while you're on Roacatane. So you have to be on a form of contraception while you're on it. And like I say, the types of women that obviously do want to be of childbearing age and they do want to think about their fertility and having children, well, they can't do both. It's one or the other. So of course they're going to want to have children, and they're not going to kind of want to like hinder that experience. So I need to look elsewhere. Like, what else can I do? Because Roacatane just isn't an option anymore. But like you say, to be able to peel off that skin and to see what's going on inside somebody is ultimately where the bloods come into it, though, right? Because that's where we can really start to identify what is the cause of that person's acne. And acne is just a symptom. It's crazy that it is such a niche for me, but it is just one symptom out of a whole range of symptoms that my clients do experience. So you start to fix everything else inside. Like, I don't necessarily treat acne, like I fix somebody like underneath that bonnet, and then all of a sudden the skin clears, and it's like, well, yeah, of course, because we've started to support your liver, or we've started to support your gut microbiome, and we've reduced your stress. And then, yeah, all of a sudden the skin starts to clear up as a byproduct of that.
And do you find that the contraceptive pill is a big reason behind a lot of the skin issues that you're coming across? Like, do a lot of your clients that come to you, are they on the contraceptive pill? Like, are they actually taking it, and that's when these problems happened?
There's a bit of both. There's a bit of people that I've literally just had been speaking to a client of mine whose sister has been in that category where she has started contraception and her skin's flared up. But then most of the time it is kind of women of my age, late 20s, early 30s, that want children, that have been on contraception for 15, 20 years. They're now coming off it, rightly so, because they want to have a child, and they're faced with all these different symptoms that have been masked, that have been suppressed for the majority of their years, their menstrual years. And now they're having this kind of raging flare up with their skin because hormones have been suppressed so much that I explain it's like going through puberty again, like starting to experience hormones like you would when you first start puberty, because the contraceptive pill obviously does, or any form of contraception suppresses those hormones. So you stop it. Wow. chaos. And that is where a lot of females are experiencing the flare-ups in those later years, where they don't think that they should be experiencing acne.
Yeah, I mean, my partner Chloe, wife Chloe, I'm getting used to saying that as well. So when we started, like when we first all connected, like in the Institute of Health back in 2022, it sounds so long ago now, and I learned and we were learning about the women's health modules, contraception, how it interrupts like the natural cycle of the body, releasing what no longer needs, but the shitstorm that comes with it, like that was a penny drop moment for me, a bit like you, Ella, on your journey. And I was like, right, Chloe, you are getting off this. And it did take like a good 6 to 12 months for her period to return. Sorry, Chloe, if you're listening to this and talking about your menstrual cycle, but it needs to be told, because there's a lot of men who, like myself, married or partners that, unbeknownst to them, that their partner is suffering from going on this. And everyone has their own, their own reason to go on it. But I think the negatives outweigh the positives, and you can see it day in, day out. Yourself, Ella, with your clients, I see it with clients I've worked with, and it's kind of like my mission, really, to kind of show them down a different light, like show them the research, show like, your mood changes are linked to this, your nutrient deficiencies in things like zinc and, B6 and all these essential minerals that you need just to function. And not alone the skin, right? The skin. I remember she had like a big issue with her skin, couldn't control it. And then of course what you're doing is, you know, you don't want to have bad skin. You're spending more money on skincare products and you go around this vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on your side of the fence where, yeah, we need to be spreading more awareness around the dangers of it and the
And that's
complications.
all it is. Genuinely, that's all it is. Like, I'm not here to kind of bash contraception. I think it obviously has its purpose. And a question that I get asked quite frequently now, especially having a daughter, is like, well, if you're a mum and you have a child who has acne and you want them to be on contraception for the actual purpose that it's there for, like, what would you do as a mum? But I think it's just education. I think that's what it comes down to. Like, I don't remember any form of education around these topics in school, for sure. And again, being marched into a doctor's office by my mum because I had heavy and painful periods at the start. It's like, go on the pill, that will fix everything. And by all means it will. But what happens when you come off it? Like, if you have that more informed choice of knowing that you take this and it will probably mask the symptoms for however long you're on it, but believe me, when you come off it, you're likely going to have those symptoms come back and then some potentially. Then if you've made that decision with that knowledge, then all you can really do is say, okay, well, we'll tackle it then. But if you don't have that knowledge, which I definitely didn't, you're kind of walking around thinking, whoa, what the hell is going on now?
Yeah, 100%.
I heard an interesting, I read an interesting article about the contraceptive pill and about how, and again, I don't remember the statistics, it's over 70% from what I can remember, that 70 odd percent of women who were on the contraceptive pill that came off the contraceptive pill also found that they were no longer attracted to the partner that they were currently with. And so in this article, they were explaining like how the contraceptive pill actually changes who you're attracted to. So that way then when you do come off it, there's a higher prevalence of either relationships breaking up or marriages divorcing, all that stuff, because the person who you thought you were attracted to, you're not attracted to anymore. So this is just then showing the very strong connection between hormonal changes from the contraceptive pill, but also how it's affecting you neurochemically. Like, that's quite a strong message to everybody. And again, we're not disrespecting the contraceptive pill if you need it for the reasons that you need it, but going into it knowing this stuff, knowledge is power at the end of the day. So that way then, you know, if you're on the contraceptive pill and you're with your forever partner, if you do decide to stop and have a kid with them, there could be a 70 odd percent chance that when you do eventually get it out of your system, you're going to be like, I don't like this dude.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, he's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
friends.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What am I doing with him? So there is that too, which again, I thought that was fascinating. I don't know if you guys have heard that before.
Yeah. I worried, Mark, because that was what was in our module. That was in our module, believe it or not. That study you're highlighting is in the thing. I was like, shit, is Chloe gonna leave me? Because it changes like likeness, attractiveness, because the pheromones, right? Because you are taking a synthetic version of like similar to progesterone, aren't you? They suppress the natural cycle, so you aren't getting the release of like the brain, the neurochemistry, are you? So I was like, oh shit. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, 100%.
It's honestly crazy. And like the feedback that I have from my clients as well, when we do start to kind of create more of that equilibrium and that kind of homeostasis within the body, is they do start to actually like appreciate the partner more and like the partner more and things like that. And again, that's just how bringing the body into more of that balance can have a better impact, not just on the skin externally of what I'm trying to help somebody with, but like everything around them, everything just kind of really clicks into place. They're feeling more energized, so they're doing better at work. Do you know what I mean? They're able to give more energy to the children if they've got children, or like I say, they're kind of getting on with their partner so much more because they don't have these dramatic mood swings that us women are kind of expect every month. And that's not normal. Like, it's common, but it's not normal. So when you start to create that balance, like that kind of domino effect that it has to somebody's life, that's what I actually find now, because I've been doing this for so long, like the most rewarding side of it is like, of course the skin's going to clear up, that's what I'm here for, but it's everything else. It's absolutely everything else.
What was the turning point when you started noticing, right, come off the medication, and the medication isn't helping. When you came off it, what was sort of like the turning point, and what were the things that you did? And I will highlight, guys, that, you know, not everyone would follow the same approach and get results what Ella did, but it's the sort of the principles that she'll probably go into with diet and lifestyle, which we're going to highlight. But what for you helped speed the recovery of your skin up and reduce your acne down?
So number one, 100%, just because of the time of when I started to kind of understand all this, was we was in diet culture. We was deep in diet culture. And as a woman, you want to be skinny. You want to eat as little as possible. You don't want to eat carbohydrates. You don't want to eat fat. You want to eat fresh air and survive off that. So when my mindset shifted from that to thinking that I can literally eat nothing and still survive, to I'm going to start to nourish my body and give it back what it needs, and that will then feed into my skin, that was the biggest turning point, 100%. Like, I can't say I ever counted calories, but obviously I was hyper focused on calories. Like I say, cutting out carbohydrates, like feeling great when you've got through a week of not eating carbohydrates. Like, what? Like, low fat everything, like trying to eat as minimal as possible, or like restricting yourself so much throughout the week and living off a Quest bar, if you remember Quest bars.
Oh yeah.
Living off Quest bars as your protein source, and going to the gym and doing hill sprints 30 minutes 5 times a week to try and, like I say, be this skinny person, to then being like, yeah, let's just kind of take all this restriction completely off you. Let's not try and do the Monday to Friday and then binging on the weekend because you have restricted yourself too much, and just creating that balance. That was a massive turning point, 100%. And obviously with that became like the habits and the principles of eating the right types of protein, not the synthetic fake sources in a bar or in a yogurt or something like that. Going more full fat and not avoiding fat and being fearful of fat because it's going to make me fat. Obviously fat is so essential for your brain, it's essential for your hormones, like everything. And yeah, it's not going to make me fat. Lowering my stress and kind of reducing the intensity of workouts, trying not to put so much pressure on my body to be this specific way. And at first, terrified, of course, as you can imagine, and as I get that feedback from clients when I try to advise them on these things, and they are scared to put weight on if they are kind of in that mindset. But then you soon realize that actually my body was just inflamed. I wasn't overweight, I was inflamed. And when we start to reduce that inflammation, you actually end up with the goal that you wanted to end up in the first place. I look at pictures of when I, like, let's say 10 years ago, 2016, of when I was in that mindset of like restriction, don't eat too much, I hit the gym 5 times a week, and my face, like, it floats around the internet now like cortisol face, doesn't it? Like the bloating in my face, it was round, I'm not gonna lie. Now doing the complete opposite, eating more, taking care of myself, lowering inflammation, not killing myself in the gym that often. It's like, okay, it's night and day. And I've actually, I eat more. So on paper, calorie wise, I eat so much more, like so much more. So make it make sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. And with that, the skincare side of it, it's never really changed. So I can sometimes do myself a disservice, I'm not going to lie, with like treatments and facials and skincare products that I think you don't even need it. You really, really don't need it. You could have such a limited, basic routine with your skincare. You don't necessarily need to go for facials. I would advise facials more so now for like the aftermath of acne and improving things like scarring and post-inflammatory erythema and just keeping the skin healthy. But I personally wouldn't advise it for kind of trying to get on top of acne itself.
Yeah. No pun intended. You are just masking it, aren't you, by doing it that way?
You genuinely are. You really, really are. And I think also with that comes the mindset, which a lot of my clients are in, that you go for a facial or you go for a treatment once every 4 to 6 weeks, and that's going to be the groundbreaking thing that clears your skin. And then the next 4 to 6 weeks you go about not caring about your skin and just expect that one treatment to do the magic trick. Or again with skincare, like you expect that one cleanser or that one moisturizer that you use in a morning and evening to kind of make things clear, and it's not. It's everything that you're doing in between. I suppose when you're talking about it from a training perspective, like a gym perspective, like you can't just go to the gym once or twice a week and expect to get the results. Like you have to think about the rest of the hours in the day and within the week of what you're doing and the habits that you're creating that are feeding into that result that you want to have.
Well, it's the biggest organ, isn't it? Our skin. So if you don't feed it and give it the nutrients, like you said, the vitamins, the minerals, the building blocks of like what helps rebuild skin and makes us useful and glow, like we want that sort of clear, glowing skin, that youthful look, you know. You're lying to yourself if you don't want that. But you got to feed it, and you can see clear as day the people who have got, you know, I will call them out, terrible skin, and I was one of them, is because they're eating shit half the time, you know. We are literally made up of the food that we eat, and you know, what you sort of feel on the inside is a reflection of what you see on the outside. The outer skin, right, is a reflection of the inner skin. So if you are, you know, 80 or 90%, you know, consuming a really highly processed diet, you're not getting regular exercise, you're not hydrating yourself, not moving around, you know, as we bang on, you're gonna look tired, you're gonna look ill. You know, and I can see it, and I know these guys won't be watching it, but especially people I grew up with at school, Mark, you could probably have the same. People that live in your hometown that don't look after themselves, that still live by the weekend, smoke, drink, you know, they look old as shit. They look old. I'm like, whoa, you look about 50, dude. Like, what is going on? How, like, every time I see you, Joe, like you look younger. I'm like, yeah, because I prioritize. You know me, like I prioritize health. I prioritize looking after myself because, you know, if you don't look after yourself, you can't help others. Like you said, being a mum, running business, showing up for other women as well. If you don't look after number one and you don't care of these things, then it will come and bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what I think. I genuinely look back at when my skin was at its worst, and there is no wonder it was screaming at me like it was because of the lifestyle that I was living and the food that I was eating and the medication that I was on. Like there is no wonder my skin looked like that. Like if I would have even got away with those years without having an experience like that, it would have been a miracle in itself. And comparing to obviously what I'm doing now and the habits that I've created now and I'm able to maintain, well, of course, again, my skin is going to remain relatively clear because I work towards that kind of balance.
I have a question for you then on that note. So obviously during pregnancy, after pregnancy, a woman's body is going through tremendous changes, particularly as you're basically giving, while you're pregnant, all your nutrients to your child, and then afterwards you're breastfeeding, so I'd imagine you're giving maybe 50-60% of your nutrients to your child. Did you notice any changes in your skin and all that kind of stuff, and B, if you did, what did you do to help manage all of that?
So personally, no. And I was very surprised at this, I'll be really honest, because I genuinely have always very openly said, especially to clients, the minute I get pregnant, I bet my skin goes kaput again. I bet it's just my luck. It really, really is. But I didn't experience any flare-ups throughout pregnancy. And to this day, touch wood, with breastfeeding, and I'm still breastfeeding a year on. And I genuinely think it is down to the knowledge that I have and the support that I give my body, specifically because obviously when you are pregnant and breastfeeding, there's kind of grey areas, should we say, around what you can take from a supplement perspective and kind of what you can do. And I just ate. It's one thing that I say to women, just eat, please, just eat. Because we're scared of it. It's so strange. It's been kind of ingrained in our brains to like eat minimal, eat small, like, because that's how you stay slim, whatever it is, whatever that diet culture I spoke about before has been ingrained in us. That's where a lot of women still do have the fear around eating. And like you just mentioned then, like you're growing a whole human and that is taking so much of your nutrients. So you need to eat and then some. And again, breastfeeding, it takes so much from you. From an energy perspective, I think it's something like, is it running so many marathons a week is literally what breastfeeding does from an energy standpoint. I can't think of the number straight off the top of my head, but it's a lot. So again, eat. But what happens is busy mums that are breastfeeding, that are at home on their own, that are looking after a child, rightly so, we go to the bottom of the priority list, and we're obviously wanting to make sure that that baby is getting what it wants, and we just don't give ourselves the nutrients that we need to keep going. And I made sure I was so on it beforehand, that I knew that that was going to happen, and I wasn't naive to the fact that a baby does take up every second of your day. Was what can I have ready, prepared, what can I have easy access to make sure that I am still getting that nutrients in to support me and obviously support the baby as well. So eat. That genuinely is my biggest thing for people. Like, eat as much as you can, genuinely, and as much nutrient dense food as you can. I think, again, we think about food and eating more from a calorie standpoint, and it's like, no, what can I get more bang for my buck from? Like, is it going to be more beneficial for me to eat steak every night for my dinner, or beef every night for my dinner because of the nutrient density of that, or chicken? And I would always go for the beef because it's going to give me more iron, it's going to give me more B vitamins. So it's like, that was how I kind of tried to play out pregnancy and play out breastfeeding. I'll give you a little caveat to that though, guys. I was really poorly in pregnancy. I'm not gonna lie, I was really sick. So I'm sitting here spouting all this information. I really struggled to eat when I was pregnant, especially in the first 12 weeks. And I had, for the first time in over 10 years, KFC. So you're really gonna laugh, because genuinely, that is one thing that I can now speak with experience and sit here and say, pregnant women, eat this, make sure you're eating your red meat, make sure you're getting your B vitamins, your iron, this, that, and the other. Wow. I don't know what happens, but there was a turning point at the 12-week mark for me, and I couldn't stand anything other than beige food, like genuinely beige food. It was crazy. My partner, Charles, we've been together for 6 years. He's seen me eat things during pregnancy that he's never seen me eat at all. There is one point where he came upstairs in the apartment. He'd been to the gym. He'd come upstairs and he said to me, "Can I get you anything?" And I said, "Flaming hot Monster Munch. I need a bag of flaming hot Monster Munch." And he was like, "What?" He said, "I can't be seen to go downstairs buying flaming hot Monster Munch," because he's on the same page as us. And that's obviously something we would never eat. And no offense to anybody that does, they are banging, but it's just something we don't eat ever. And he said, "I genuinely can't go downstairs and buy you them." I said, "You will go downstairs and you will buy me a bag of flaming hot Monster Munch, because that's what I want."
Brilliant.
But then obviously, when I could, and I did have the appetite to eat these specific things, I was really mindful around eating kind of, red meat, eating kind of more or less refined carbohydrates, should we say, and more nutrient dense foods in general.
I've heard this as well. Beige foods, interesting.
And when I ate the KFC, sorry to interrupt you, Joe, because I've just got to talk about this, but when I ate the KFC, I genuinely sat on a Sainsbury's car park, far away from where, like there's always those spaces at the back of the car park where no one parks, everyone parks closer to the door. I parked as further away as I could, and I ate it, put it in the bin, and drove home and thought, "Oh my God, what have I just done? That is not normal." I was so ashamed, but it was so good.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine, because you're going through all these hormonal changes as well, like mental, psychological as well. It makes complete sense, right? But kudos to you, because you sort of focus so much on the outside, don't you? Like, we are the average of what we do, not on occasion. So one off meal, as I call it, or one meal at KFC isn't going to really ruin your efforts and in terms of pregnancy and skin, is it? In the grand scheme of things, if all you're eating every day is a whole food diet anyway. And
that's one of the things I say to my clients. I think when I first start having conversations with them, it's always kind of like, "Oh God, I broke out after I'd had a Chinese on Saturday," and I'm like, "Right, okay. Well, what we eat in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like, it's likely that being the issue rather than that one Chinese on a Saturday. Let's not demonize that one meal when we have ideally 21 meals throughout the week. If we're having three meals a day, 7 days a week, like why are we isolating that one thing when it's likely everything else, that's probably the issue? Like, what can we add in? And I think that's another point to make, really. Like, I think with skin, there's always this restrictive mindset around diet. Take out the dairy, take out the gluten, take out the sugar. Yeah, they will help from an inflammatory perspective. But people have got themselves in this kind of rut where they've eliminated so much that they've eliminated a lot of nutrients along the way. So it's like, no, let's kind of flip this on its head. Like, let's start to think about what we can eat more with more nutrients in. Like I say, like, let's eat more red meat, kind of let's get that diversity back within our diet, so we are hitting those kind of aims with the B vitamins and the iron and the zinc and those things that people are depleted in.
It's interesting you say that. Do you think as well, Ella, because I touched base on, if you remember, like in the summer I had a bit of a skin flare with myself. Do you think as well as that it's like a psychological thing for people that can also flare it?
100%. Stress and the psychological side of it is huge. And it's the hardest thing to try and fix in a way with people, because you can sometimes look at people's blood work, for example, and think this bit's going on, don't get me wrong, like there really is, and there's things that we can make improvements on. But I'm feeling, especially nowadays, people are getting a lot of free information online, and it's the good information that they're taking from it, and they're eating the right foods, they're kind of being conscious about processed foods, they're trying to reduce stress, they're doing all these different types of things. But sometimes that psychological side is really difficult for them. Or I call it now the toxic positivity movement, which is where they're trying to do so much good that it's actually having a negative effect on them, and that's kind of creating a lot of stress, which is obviously feeding into why their skin's not clearing up.
Yeah, that was for me. I don't remember, I was sort of pinging you a voice note whilst going through this sort of bodybuilding competition last year, and trying to chuck the kitchen sink at it that we do.
Panic. It's sheer panic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it was making it worse. Mark, I don't know if you remember, but it was folliculitis, so it's an inflamed hair follicle, which makes a lot of sense because you're putting a sheer amount of stress on your nervous system in your body. You're going back to the whole microbiome thing that we're talking about, which I think we should deep dive into because it's so fascinating. There's a massive change in like your gut, skin axis as well. But the thing that was driving the most of me was because I wanted to get to the bottom of it, the root cause of it. That was driving more stress. And when I sort of realised that, I'm stressing about this competition because it's very restrictive. I'm doing a lot. Maybe I should just accept that this is going to happen and make peace of it, go away, let it go, and hey presto, it started to subside. And I did have to change the skin because I remember you sort of recommending like tallow balm, and I had a reaction to that. And even though it was like no essential oils in it whatsoever, the thing that actually helped it was lanolin from sheep's skin, sheep's wool. It's the closest thing to like human skin, apparently, this stuff. So this cream was kind of like my savior, but you have to go for a bit of trial and error, don't you, with people and yourself. And I think a big part of that, which helped speed the recovery up and finally heal, was my mindset, my letting go, making peace of it.
Yeah. And it's crazy because when I talk to clients, it's one of the first things that I notice. So you will get clients that kind of obviously are really keen to get to that root cause, but then you get other clients that you just know that this is going to take a lot more of my effort to coach, because you obviously have to tread really carefully, because I appreciate somebody is under a lot of stress, and that's the first thing that they see when they wake up, and it's the first thing that they see when they go to bed, and their skin on their face rules their day. But there is also that little bit of like, okay, we need to stop obsessing about this so much because it's not getting you anywhere.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think, when working with autoimmune patients, it's the one part that I start with. So this is, again, and I know you guys do the same. Blood works give us the objective data. and the questionnaire that we get them to fill out gives us the subjective data. So for those who don't know what that means, objective is just giving us the external view of what's happening on the inside in a snapshot there and then, and it's numbers and figures and data that we've got from however many hundreds of years we've been doing blood tests. Then you've got the subjective, which is telling you, one, what do they think is going on, in the sense of how do they answer it, like in the sense of like, you know, like when we say like, you know, do you have this symptom, this symptom, this symptom, and they're picking these things out. But it also tells us, depending on how they've answered it and how many questions they've answered, how much interoceptive ability, the ability to know yourself, how well do they know themselves? And I noticed this trend quite a lot, like more women will be more in touch with their body, knowing what it's telling them, or at least understanding it's telling them something, where guys, no disrespect to guys out there, have got less interoceptive ability to tune in and be like, okay, so is what I'm feeling, or is this something that I'm making up because it's something I Googled? You know, it's having those two separate pieces, because understanding how somebody relates to themselves tells me how much mindset work do I have to do here. Because what Joey said about the letting go, that's the most important part of any illness, anything that's happening, any disease, is because the body is in dis-ease and it is trying through symptoms to tell you something is wrong. And it goes from a gentle rap on the door to a massive kicking in of the door when you get these full flares of acne or IBD or Hashimoto's, whatever the case may be. So we have to really know, like, how do we let this go? How do we move on from this and just say, right, I've made peace with it. It's here. So all I can do is let it go, because I can't control it. It's the body doing its thing. All I can do is get out of the way and do the things that actually support it. Because that's what we're doing for people. We're not saying, here's a cure. We are saying, this is what I went through. This is how I helped my body help itself. And this is how I got out of the way and allowed it to do that. So the coming to peace with it is so important, because everyone's like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to fight this disease. No, you're not. You can't go in there with a bat and expect to beat it. Like, it's your own body. Like, your body's not trying to kill you. Your body's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to tell you something. And the more noise you're making, the less silence there is for you to actually hear what your body's trying to tell you. It's a little bit like when, again, going back to that gym analogy, when people go to the gym and a guy will say to me, oh, you know, I keep getting this really bad shoulder pain. Okay, what did you do yesterday? Oh, chest and shoulders. Are you mad? Are you mad? You've got a pain in your shoulder which won't go away, and now you're doing shoulders. You are doing the one thing your body's saying, please don't do that. It hurts. I don't want that anymore. It would be like, as Joey said, getting that tallow, and even though he put it on his arm and it hurt and it burned, him going, I'm still going to do it anyway. Probably not a good idea at that time, right? Like, yeah. Pay attention to these things, because the body's way cleverer than we are. So it's trying to tell you something. So that letting go process, I feel, and for me personally, is the most freeing thing, because you're no longer immovable object and unstoppable force where nothing's happening. You are now finding that space where you can find peace within that and still live your life and get on with your day, knowing that this is going to be a process. There is no going to Ella, going to Joey, coming to me, magic pill, oh, I feel amazing. Because that's what Western medicine's doing. Symptom treating, not causality. So I think that letting go, and I don't want to harp on it any more than what I've just done, but that letting go is the most important part of any healing journey, coming to terms with it and saying, right, okay, I integrate this into who I am. I'm now going to get out of the way, do what I need to do, and just let the body do the rest.
Yeah, and it's just awareness. I say to my clients, all it is awareness. And the more aware you are, the more you can get to that point of peace. You really, really can. And a good kind of like little task that I always say to clients, because obviously when we are thinking about the skin, specifically on the face, the habits that people have created is the first thing they do is they look in the mirror in the morning, or they open the front camera on the phone, and they're looking, is how do you hold yourself when you're looking at yourself in the mirror? And most of the time, shoulders are up here, jaws clenched, like they're holding so much tension within their body. And it's like, can we even just start to relax that? We're not just overnight going to tell you to stop looking in the mirror and you're going to do it. You're going to continue to do that. Of course you are. But how are you holding your body when you do that? Because starting to relieve that tension will also feed into kind of that mindset of being like, right, okay, like we need to stop this. We need to stop being so mean to ourselves, like picking ourselves apart in a mirror in the morning just because we've got acne. It doesn't define you in any way, shape or form. So to feel the feelings that you do feel and to give that negative self-talk to you every morning is not doing you any good.
No, not at all. Not at all. Beautifully said, Ella.
Thanks.
Joe.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything that you said, and it's a very different sort of talk. Most people sort of think, Ella, what products do you recommend? You know, what supplements are you taking in a minute? What do you recommend for me? It's like, well,
I don't know you. I don't know you. I have no idea.
Yeah, like, would you recommend that for gut health then? Like, you know, today I had it on a call, you know, like, what do you think this gut drink, this sort of like, this certain, I won't name the brand, but like, I was like, it's like chucking shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, without doing a bit more deep diving to actually, you know, looking at, hey, like we were talking off air, what strains of bacteria you are missing, which involves some very expensive testing.
Yeah.
You're literally fucking, you know, like guessing.
But even then, Joe, it's like we can even skip to that point. But as we all know, if your body is stressed, if you have bad eating practices, if you're not chewing your food properly, like all this top-down approach, like you can have all those tests and figure out the missing piece of the puzzle down there. But you can keep relapsing if you're not doing the basics, like the actual basics. And most people, should I say, aren't doing that. Like they really, really aren't. So how about we just slow down? We kind of reduce our stress. We take some deep breaths before we eat our food. We sit away from the screens and the laptops and scrolling on our phones, and we kind of just sit and concentrate and chew our food. How about that from a gut health perspective? Why do we need this? I probably know what gut health supplement you were talking about with it being a drink. Why do we need to spend hundreds of pounds on that? You might not even need it. Like you're just trying to bypass some good habits.
That's what it is.
Created.
I think there comes a point, and we've all been there, right, where you want the easy option.
Yeah, everyone
We're
does.
lazy. Like we live in a world where you got fucking Amazon Prime, Deliveroo. You know, we're not cooking tonight, babe. I can't be bothered. I've had a long week. You're already getting into a negative cycle with it. We're going to just do this tonight. I can't be bothered. I want the easy option. And it's the same with skincare as well.
It really, really is. It really is. And it's like when you do have this right in front of you every single day and you're being fed all this different information from well-marketed products or influencers that are talking about these well-marketed products, it's going in and you just think that next product is going to be that quick fix for you, or that next supplement, which is the most popular thing nowadays. Like I'm not feeling like I'm battling with skincare. I feel like I'm battling with supplements, and it's like, but I take this one and it might even be a combination of some really good ingredients that are helpful, but it's just a cheap version, a synthetic version, a mass-produced version, and it's like, oh God, this is my new battle that I'm facing.
Yeah, it's trends. And I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, it's disappeared now. Is CMOS.
Yes. I still get asked about that quite a lot, you know.
Yeah. Well, what's your view on it? Just a side note.
Well, I've never recommended it for skin, let's just put it that way. I don't really have much of an opinion on supplements that come and go from the market. I'm just like, it's noise. It's so much noise. Like I don't have time to start to research the nitty-gritty of what social media is spouting for the next latest ingredient or supplement or something like that. I keep to what I know and it works. So why would I need to listen to the rest of this noise? Like keep it out, genuinely keep it out.
Yeah, silver bullets. They never work.
What's your thoughts on CMOS, Joe?
I think it's another shotgun approach. Unless you sit and know, like we just discussed, do it's not the boring stuff, the foundational pillars of like actually getting a good night's sleep, hydrating your body with minerals, having, 90% of the foods that you're eating like are actually whole foods, not something that has come out of a packet, for one. And you get movement in every day. That's what I consider like the basics. Then you can sprinkle shit like that if you want to, but again, they're far much better ways to get the benefits of one particular thing.
Yep. I agree.
They're in your diet.
I agree.
They're in your diet, for goodness sake.
I agree.
Why everybody's
Yeah, it
saying
is.
that
It's
thing
iodine.
because it's iodine rich. Yeah.
It's got a lot of iodine, but it's also got, and again, depends on which one you get, whether it's like Irish sea moss or wherever else, or bladderwhack or any of the other slip like things that you can get. What's the other one? The sour sop and all things like that. Like they contain anywhere between 82 to like 94 trace minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's great, but so does seawater. So we do come from there, but you don't see me going down to like Cornwall and like just with a straw, like just sat on the beach drinking seawater. Like there's a reason why we need those minerals, because we've got earth minerals, we've got sea minerals, so we've got fulvic and humic and all those other types of things, and we need those things because the further we are becoming away from nature, the more we need these supplemental forms, because we're not hands in the dirt. So we wouldn't be putting our hands in the dirt and getting all the fulvic and humic minerals and stuff on our hands and then touching our faces or putting it in our mouth, whatever. Like we won't be getting that. So we do need that in that sense. But, do you spend £30 on a jar of sea moss to get 82 minerals? Or do you think, okay, well, there's probably other ways that I can do this. Okay, well, a really good Celtic salt will do the same thing. Yeah. So I could just get some Celtic salt or some Redmond sea salt, which is that Utah waterbed. I can use that on my food. I can use it in cooking. I can use it to gargle if I've got a sore throat. But I then could put a quarter teaspoon in my water in the morning and drink that, and I've got exactly the same minerals. And it's a bag of half a kilo bags, and it costs you like £6, and it's going to last you a really long bloody time. So like there are things that you can do which make sense, and there are things that you can do which don't make sense. And from a percentage perspective, we have to think a lot of the time with these things, there's the return of investment in money, there's the return of investment in time, and then there's a return of effort, energy in doing it.
Yeah.
If you think taking a tablespoon of sea moss every single day is going to make you better, cool, do it. But at that same time, think to yourself, okay, from a percentage perspective, what percentage am I getting back? So if you were going to invest in something and I said to you both, right, you give me this money as your investment and I will give you 20% back, you're going to go, I'm in. That sounds great. But if I said to you, okay, you can invest that same amount, but I'll give you 0.5%, 1% back, you'll be like, well, that's a pretty crap odds. I don't really want to do that. That's how we have to think about supplements. If taking sea moss is going to give you a 10 or 20% return, do it.
Yeah.
But I will promise you'll get no more from sea moss than what you would from a bag of Celtic salt. One is a lot cheaper and a lot more efficient, a lot easier to use because you can put it in everything. And one, you need to sit there with a spoon, taking down this rather weird jelly-like substance, which is costing you, I don't know, like 3 times the amount. And you're still getting that same percentage return of like maybe 0.8%, 1% if you're lucky. So rather than focusing on, it's that saying of majoring in the minors, and this is what we've been saying a lot near the end here, which is like, do the common things uncommonly well. Do the basics. Think about the biggest levers that you can pull, which have got the biggest ROI, the biggest ROE, and things like movement, sunlight, all these things that we've spoken about multiple times, free.
Yeah, free.
Oh, that's free. A great investment. Thank you very much. That's like being given £1 million for free. Thank you very much. I'll have that. So pull the biggest levers. Don't focus on the really minute things because you've seen it come up on TikTok shop and you're going to now buy a creatine gummy or curcumin gummy or whatever other crap you're going to buy. Pull the biggest lever. Do the biggest things. You've got 3 of us sat here, all very good at what we do, and we're all telling you the same thing. Pull the biggest levers. Do the common things commonly well, and then if you want to add these in as an ancillary, cool, try it. See if it works. But unless you've got the basic foundationals correct, sleeping well, eating well, moving well, looking good, feeling good, what's that? Look good, move well, right? If you're doing all these things well, And then you think, right, I'm at 90%. I now want to try something like a CMOS, maybe get to 94, 95%. Cool. But when you're at 20%, well, that's just a waste of money because it's not going to take you up to 90% in any way, shape, or form. Sorry, tangent about CMOS.
No.
Just do the common things uncommonly well. Don't be lazy. And that's not to say if you want to Uber Eat or you want a KFC or whatever, we're not fragile. And that's the one thing, and again, which you probably noted when you back in the day when you were like, as you said, eating air. If you did introduce anything which wasn't air, probably didn't feel very good.
Yeah.
Because your body was so not used to having a carbohydrate or some fats or what have you. Now all the enzymes and all the bacteria that feed off it are gone. So when you do reintroduce it, you're a little bit screwed because your body's like, well, I don't know how to process that. No idea. That's like getting a floppy disk from 1990 and trying to find a space on your new MacBook Pro to put it in. So you're like, well, you can't force it in everywhere. Or like I was saying to you about that guy who said his computer couldn't see his printer, putting it in front of it. Doesn't make sense. So like, I just think do the common things commonly well and just make sure you're not being too restrictive unless it's a trigger. If you're in a flare or you've got something going on and this particular food doesn't suit you well, cool. Remove it until those symptoms go away and you're stable. Then titrate slowly. If you fancy a little bit of pasta, great. You're going to have to cook a whole lot, but you're going to eat like 4 of them. Literally 4 penne pieces on your plate. Eat them. See how you respond. If you don't respond at all, fantastic. If you respond, throw the rest away. Like, do it slowly. Reintroduce things slowly. You can't just go whole bag penne or go and get your favorite like tagliatelle or something and then wonder why you're now having problems. Like, just slowly do these things. Low and slow. It's the best way to reintroduce all of this stuff.
Low and slow.
Low and slow, baby.
Love it. Love it. Wow. We've been on. We've done well so far. I don't know how you. Are you right for time? Or are you got to nip up soon, or are you got a little bit longer? Love it. Oh yeah, she's just running riot.
Yeah, she's making dinner. She's all good. She's all good.
Doing some steak. Are you? Oh,
beautiful.
Love it.
Love that. That's good.
Yeah, that's so good because there's so many. I talk to so many parents that got really fussy kids, end up cooking separate meals, and we're going a bit of a tangent, but yeah, may it continue. But what's the future hold, Ella? Like, what's the sort of goal with like for you personally, and also with like the women? And do you see any men come to your clinic or with their skin? Very rarely. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
Well done. That's amazing.
Nice. Love that.
So good.
Tell everyone about what Skin Institute is, Ella, for those who don't know. Sure. Yeah. That's great. And it's great, isn't it? Mentoring, students and people who are coming up in the industry as well. I've actually quite enjoyed it. Separately to all this, started taking on sort of like some of my clients, like adolescents or their teenagers, and I never really wanted to do it because it's it reminds me of way back when I used to sort of just do solely personal training and group classes with kids that don't want to be there. They've been dumped by their parents. It was not fun. But now it's the other end of the spectrum where I'm actually mentoring these young men and had the pleasure of young women as well.
Don't tell them it is.
Say again.
So don't tell the missus.
She knows all this, but it's interesting, isn't it? Like, it's very fulfilling speaking with the young who are a lot more switched on than others that are thinking about health, because if you look at the state of our nation, like what 80% of adults in the UK are obese, 1 in 10 have type 2 diabetes. It's not going to get any better, and there needs to be more people like us that are spreading more awareness for this root cause, and and instead of sounding like everyone else with if it fits your macros and a calorie deficit, it's a lot more deeper under the hood. It's more holistic, and it's the way we should all be going, and driving better habits with themselves, the way they perceive the world, and and it doesn't just stop with skin, does it? It's everything else that you guys are doing. Yeah, well, it's needed, isn't it? Because it drives more change, and then the more change, and it's just going to help more people. So no brainer, right?
I agree.
Absolutely.
And I've actually
Absolutely.
had an idea just now as you guys are talking about that, which I'll talk to you about off air once we finish recording, because I think it could work.
Okay. Well,
So,
Ella, where can
sorry
anyone
everybody who's listening who's thinking, what idea?
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
we'll invite you next time. But no, it's great to see you, Ella, and thank you so much for your time and coming on. Where can anyone find you? Like, where are you most active on social media? Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. Cool.
We'll pop all of that in the show notes.
Absolutely. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. And guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. It was a very special one to start the new year. And Ella will definitely be back. We'll be talking all things a bit deeper in, I think, like motherhood and, new things that come up, because we're in the midst of the UK winter at the minute. So I'm sure when spring and summer roll around, we've got more powerful content for all you guys. But
100%.
did you want anything, Mark?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just itching to tell you guys about my idea now.
Ooh. We'll leave you on a cliffhanger, guys. We'll leave you on a cliffhanger. But
Thanks for coming, my darling.
yeah.
Thank you for
All
coming.
right, guys.
It's been a blessing. It really has.
And we'll speak soon, guys.
Stay blessed,
Have a
everybody.
good one. Stay blessed.